So we out riding around today, made our way over to the doctor's house. Square body doctor himself, driving the 10-door Suburban on tank number 2 of fuel. Getting ready to go inside and check on his newest updated project. And as you can see, they are square bodies and Chevrolets galore. Let's go in and check him out, see what he's got going on this 86. Yeah, there's some parts out here getting ready. This thing's gonna be a nice one. All right, so we're back over at Kenny's garage. We haven't brought you any content on this red Chevy in a little while. And the ghost just closed the door. Of course, I got some extra help today, one behind the camera and one right here. But Kenny's gotten a long way on this truck, and there's a right way, there's a wrong way, and there's a Kenny way. So we're gonna bring you a few little updates on what he's done and try to get this little girl to cooperate. But he's gotten a long way under the hood, and once this thing's buttoned up, you're not gonna notice a lot of this stuff. So we want you to see the nuts and bolts and the details of what he's been doing. So take it away, Kenny.
All right, well, I guess since last time, before I actually put the engine in, I rolled the front axle out, wire wheeled the front axle down, the bare metal, of course, painted everything. We've got, as you can see, we've got new calipers, we've got brake lines, and of course brake pads and all that type of stuff. Sway bar bushings, we've got the shocks on it. But the main focus really, I guess, is the engine and everything to do with the engine. So this is a brand new engine, dynoed 299 horsepower. It's nothing fancy, it's just a standard bore 350 with an RV cam. But to break it in properly, because it's got a flat tappet cam, and for those of you that know, you know the deal with the flat tappet cam these days. So I didn't want a chance not breaking it in correctly and somebody having a problem later on down the road. So we dynoed it not to only break it in, but obviously to see what kind of power it makes. Makes all that power about 4,800 RPM, so it'd be perfect for this combo. Brand new exhaust manifolds. Fuel pump, pre-made line that goes from the pump to the carburetor, pre-made transmission lines, of course, new water pump, new belts, all the correct hardware on, say the valve covers, it's got the correct studs, hold down bars, nuts. Basically the entire engine is as it was. It still has some emission, not anything that's going to rob power, but to make it look correct, we still have a big canister that goes here with a few connections that go to the carburetor and a couple other areas. We got the steering box back on it, steering shaft. Of course, we got the stainless steel brake lines, which I did them a while back. New OEM AC Delco AC compressor. Let's see, all your vent hoses for your front diff. We got a Fox steering stabilizer.
Stop by Davis Off-Road for that.
Got the original plastic, I'm not sure what they call them, I forget what they call them, but we got those on there on both sides, of course.
I think they basically are splash guards, because the inner fender connects to them. So
right, the inner fender connects. It just keeps stuff from getting
in that pocket right there.
Behind that little pocket right there.
Yep.
We got the cowl back on it. Couple reasons I did that. It had some trash in it I didn't like, so we took care of that. And while we also had it apart, there's a grate, a plastic grate. It's part of this right here. Of course, when you paint any of these, if you don't take it off, the paint goes straight through there to that. So we had red overspray all over this grate. So I took that off, got all the paint off, painted it black. I got the paint overspray off the vacuum or the washer hoses that feed these. Got all that off. Painted the wiper arms. Also got the new windshield chrome, front and back. That's the original GM slider in the back. If the latch still works and everything is like it's supposed to.
I know you're working with your special wheels here.
Yeah, those are a set of the original GM white wagon wheels, and I chose to paint those. They're the same color as the shocks, with the original ring and center cap. on some fresh 33-inch BFGs. We also got the transmission in as well. Don't know how much you'll be able to tell, but the transmission's back in. Everything is clean and fresh. I'm waiting on a brand new dipstick with the locking tube. I'm gonna be putting it in there when that gets here. Of course, cross member, new mounts, the adapters, painted, bead blasted and painted and all, just like most everything under here. You can see the frame. I'm still got to put this gas tank back in, but just to give you an idea of what the floor and everything looks like before the tank goes in, give you an idea of just how clean and rust-free this thing is. Backside of the OEM rockers, it shows you they've never been replaced or worked on. All new parking brake cables, brackets. Let's see. All new brakes, hardware, shoes, wheel cylinders, drums. We did not paint the drums black like most people would. We used high temperature satin clear and kept the dark gray, and you can see a little contrast between the light gray on the wheel and the brake drum. And on the back side, it still has that I'm fresh look. Look at that. Kind of like the U-bolts, that type of deal. I think that's probably about it so far. I do have the outer belt moldings in, and all the window runs in the windows. Window motors are in, all that's good and works. Getting ready to put that radiator support on next, and once that gets on there, we can finish adjusting the fenders. We also have new, they call these the hinge isolators, these rubber deals here. Of course, painted the hinges as well. So once we get the radiator support on, we'll get the hinges, the fenders adjusted. Once they're adjusted, then we can put the inner fenders in. And pretty much just finish putting it back together.
So Kenny might have got you guys upside down and sideways there for a few minutes underneath, but as you can see, this build is about as nice as they get. We don't really ever get the time to do a truck this way. Kenny's an extreme hobbyist of this and has spent his whole life working on this era of trucks. So don't expect each truck that leaves out of our possession to be to this standard. That's why we try to take the time to do each video and be pretty precise about the things that we have done, the things that we know. But when one leaves here, it goes to a little different level. So
most people don't have the time
nor the patience.
Yeah, those are both very critical for turning out, what you want to turn out. If you don't have either one of those, it's pretty much impossible to.
And a lot of people will see this in the background. That's not like rust or anything. That's the seam from the factory where they seal it. And a lot of people will smooth
the spray here?
The spray.
Yeah, it's just it comes all the way up here. It's just like a tar.
A lot of people for a show truck would actually take all that off and finish it, or either paint that area black. That's the cheap and easy way out, just to cover it and mask it off. But that shows the originalness of this vehicle. Of course, it was red from the factory, and all that is exactly as it should be. And again, the detail this video will show, because once it's capped off and under the hood and the radiator support's in there, you're not going to see all these little fine details. And Kenny's the one that is the only one that is the patient man to carry these things to the next level, because there's a ton of bolts, nuts, screws that it takes to do this. And the cool thing with this truck is, and it was questionable when we got it until, when Kenny got it, until the paperwork followed, but it is a 65,000 original mile truck. And if you scroll back,
only been driven by one owner.
Yep.
It was purchased from the original owner, taken apart. The guy never finished it, called me. I bought it from him. So whoever buys the truck will be the second actual owner to drive the truck.
and if you go back to the previous video, I remember now, we had the carpeting out to show the actual floor pan. The floor pan is just as solid as the rest of the truck in nice red. Was no rust, was no decay, no corrosion. And of course, he'll go back with all the right clips and all the right screws and all the right stuff when this is finished. So, I mean, you can see a lot of the pieces already in here, but Kenny will get this thing wrapped up. And the cool thing with this truck is right now at this point, if somebody, in the way most of our square bodies are going, people don't realize a ton of ours are not making it to the internet. They're kind of making it to the Burger King level. People are like, what's that mean? Well, you can have it your way. So just like Burger King, if you wanted this truck on a different tire and wheel, if you wanted this truck with trim or without trim, maybe you want the racetrack trim, maybe you want the newer V-Series trim. At this moment right now, before it gets any further, you can kind of lock it in, put a deposit down, and we can start finishing this truck to your level. So again, price will vary according to what we do, how we do it. This truck's gonna be the perfect OE candidate of grandpa's truck. It's not gonna be too big. Right now, that's the finished look for the tire and wheel. The front will match that, but if somebody wanted bigger, now's the time to do it. If somebody wanted a different tire and wheel, now's the time to do it. Picking out your trim, finishing touches of the interior, stereo, custom changes, but this is going to be one for the books as far as the quality nut and bolt restoration style, like what a Barrett Jackson or a true show vehicle would be. So if anybody can appreciate the OE quality of this truck, here's the proof in the pudding for you. So keep on watching. We just wanted to bring you some cool content on this truck. And again, it will be for sale. Kenny builds them to love them and then leave them. So he'll get it done to his satisfaction. It'll be driven, checked over, and then it will be officially up for grabs. But just like the last few, if you want to get ahead of that curve, because they are not lasting when they make it to the internet a couple hours and they're gone. So if you want to get ahead of that, and this is your dream come true truck, regular cab, long bid. What year is it, Kenny?
86.
86 truck. Let us know. You can drop it in the comments. Give us a call, 804-271-0030 or davisautosales.com, but do not look for it on the web because it will not make it there till it's completed, if it even makes it. So some cool square body content for today. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.